Hello and welcome to a behind-the-scenes look at Sport for Jove's All's Well That Ends Well by William Shakespeare. This is one of Shakespeare's least known and least performed plays, and it's been many years since it was last performed in this country, which is one of the reasons why we wanted to stage it. I think it's a brilliant play. I think it's an incredibly exciting play, and some of the reasons why it doesn't get performed are the fact that it asks very difficult questions, I think, of an audience, and it has a very, very interesting, challenging moral centre. Fundamentally, the story is daring to challenge us to agree or disagree with the notion that the end can justify the means. If we want something, we're going to chase it down at any means of winning at all costs. For this young woman who's the star of this play, Helena Narbonne, she will do absolutely anything to get the things she wants. And by the end of it, if it's justified by the success of her mission, so be it. Helena desperately wants a boy called Bertram, and he is not the least interested in her, to the point not even disliking her. He does not even recognise she exists. She's like an invisible little sister to him. She's grown up in his household, and she wants him. And this is where it's interesting for Shakespeare, not just want him in a beautiful romantic way. Her body longs for him. It's such a physical expression of sexual desire in the play. Probably more than any other play Shakespeare wrote in terms of looking at it from the feminine perspective. I guess Cleopatra is another image of that level of physical desire that drives her, as they say in the play, driven by the flesh to extraordinary lengths to win this man's heart and mind. And that's the essence of the play. And how wonderful that a Shakespeare play, which are so filled typically with women who are forced into arranged marriages and go on terrible journeys as a result of trying to escape them or give in to them, that in this play we finally get literally a meat market of men being chosen by a woman who has a power over their destiny. And I think that's very exciting to sit inside a Shakespeare play. And the actresses were saying the other day that, and many of them have done dozens of Shakespeare plays, so they've never felt more empowered by the experience of doing a Shakespeare play than they have in All's Well That Ends Well, which I think is a very rich reason to perform this play. And we've had quite a bit of fun with our approach to that meat market of men that Frankie Savage, who's doing a beautiful job as Helena, is selecting from. And we love the irreverence that Shakespeare carries that scene upon. It's beautifully written and really theatrically engaging idea that she goes through in that moment, obviously building toward the selection of Bertram. So Bertram refuses her completely, and he runs for it. He runs off to where a young man in his opinion, should be spending his marrow, as he says in the play, and also his sexual energy on the battlefield. So he runs off to war to have 1,000 boyhood adventures of his own, and she is left distraught. However, the strength of character and the sheer resilience and, again, the physical desire she has for him leads her on an epic barefoot pilgrimage across Europe to find him. We see it as a very contemporary play. We thought if we're never going to perform this play, and this play is never seen by audiences, then why give it a neat sort of historical period that explains away some of its darker, more difficult corners and edges and things. We thought, no, let's treat the play like it was written today. It's a very, very contemporary tale in the fact that the war in the play has a very indiscernible justification. Its causes and its effect and its importance is completely unexplained by Shakespeare. He deliberately makes it a strangely nebulous thing that these boys are fighting in. They don't even know which side to fight for initially in this war, which makes it feel, look at what's happening in Ukraine and Russia today. It captures the complexity, I suppose, of the way we live our wars these days. And alongside that is a very ambivalent attitude to sex and a wonderfully visceral idea, very frank discussion about sex. Helena begins the play with an incredibly, so frank in fact, about virginity that for centuries it was cut from the play because the audiences or producers couldn't bear that a woman could speak in that fashion. It's very hard in this play to pick the villain. equally hard to pick the hero. It is a mess of complexity and ambiguity, and that to me makes, again, it feel like the great TV series that we obsess about today, the Breaking Bads, the Sopranos, the Mad Men, etc. It's very hard to nail down where the moral centre of a story is. And this anti-hero quality, the very thing that has condemned this play for centuries, to me makes it a strength today. And I hope that people might be interested in not simply coming along to another Shakespeare they've seen 7 times to look at what this new series of choices might do to it, but to actually come and see a story that you might not know what happens next, and where these themes and ideas are being expressed by an absolutely brilliant mind in William Shakespeare in such new ways. And I reckon it's a play that is very much worthy of the stage, and I'm thrilled to put it on.